It's that time of the year again, homecoming, and we are live from the Guthrie Bell Tower at Western Kentucky University. We've got a whole lot to talk about and a short time to do it.
We'll recap the first half of WKU football season, bringing you a breakdown of all the matchups so far.
And later we'll be joined by WKU Director of Athletics and the university's 10th president. We talk with Todd Sewer and Dr. Carboni right here on set.
All that and so much more right here on this homecoming edition of The Extra Point. Hey, Director, take that open.
Extra Point.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2017 edition of the Extra Point Homecoming Show. I'm Dalton Godbey, joined by Hannah Sells and Temple Ricke. Guys, it's Homecoming on the Hill 2017. You can see right here behind us all the festivities going on, and you can't ask for much better weather.
Oh, no, of course not. I mean, it's a little hot, but I like it, and I think the players are going to do well.
And also, we've got a big-time game at 3:30 between Western and Charlotte. Thoughts on that?
We sure do. It is my senior year on the Hill. I'm ready for this homecoming game, Dalton.
And speaking of football, we'll dive right into it. We take you back to WKU's home opener as they kicked off the Mike Sanford era by renewing the series with longtime rival EKU. The Hilltoppers got started early with a DeAndre Furby rushing touchdown and then a Mike White to Lucky Jackson 60-yard touchdown connection. The Colonels, though, would come out of the half trying to fight their way back in the ballgame as Tim Boyle found two different targets in the end zone for EKU touchdowns. But the Western Kentucky offense would prove to be too much for that team from the East. Hilltoppers get the dub in week one. Final score 31-17.
Going to be new doors every single day, every single week, and significant doors that you have to go right up to, and you got to either kick them down or run away. And one of those big doors for us that we had to kick down was going to game day with this new coaching staff and these new players and working through that. You can simulate that all you want. We did as much as we could in scrimmage situations in fall camp, but we had to go out there and do it, and we had to do it against a traditional rivalry.
As the Tops travel to Champaign, Illinois for their second ever matchup with the Illini, WKU looking to claim their first victory over a Big Ten opponent in school history. We'll take you right to the action. The Hilltopper offense was off to a slow start as they were forced to punt on their first few drives. Illinois would capitalize on that and put through two straight field goals to give them an early lead. Then a pick six would lift them to a 20-0 advantage heading into the break. Mike White, however, would eventually find the end zone on a 2-yard carry, but the Tops would fall in Memorial Stadium 20-7.
Yeah, we were pretty disappointed. We thought we had a really good shot to win, and it was football that they came out on top that day. But our offense will get it together, so we're not too worried about it going forward. We think it was just a blip in the pursuit.
Game was a nail-biter and put the Tops in danger of dropping a third straight for the first time since 2012. Going into the Sanford era, we learned that the team's offense was on a constant struggle bus with problems in the consistency area. The 22-23 loss gave WKU its first losing streak since October of 2014.
At the end of the day, that was a conference championship game, and we lost by 1 point. And that's not acceptable in my eyes, in our team's eyes, in our leaders' eyes. But I do have to say that I have a lot of respect for Skip Holtz and La Tech's football program and the staff and the way that their players fought. Coach Holtz does an outstanding job. A lot of respect for him.
Now in the WKU Ball State game, we see a change in how the Tops played. They came back from that gut-wrenching La Tech loss with a whole new momentum overall. This time we not only see a strong defensive line, but a tight and consistent offense. WKU was steadily throwing the ball and defense was pushing back on Ball State, making it extremely hard for them to score a touchdown for the majority of the game. There was a moment that the Tops almost lost the game by 1 point yet again. 5 minutes were on the clock, but Jakari Moses and Joe Brown were the heroes of the game, making two last-minute touchdowns and carrying the Tops to a 33-21 victory.
But no, it's exciting. It's definitely exciting. It's something that everyone wants to do for a football team, and a big play had to be made, so why not me?
And the Tops hit the road for El Paso and didn't leave disappointed. It was a slow evening for WKU offense as they struggled to find success early in the ground. But Mike White would hit pay dirt 2 different times, both on rushing touchdowns. But the Miners didn't back down. Heading into the half, UTEP led 14-8, but that powerful WKU defense held strong and wouldn't allow another UTEP score for the remainder of the game. As one of those Mike White touchdowns would seal the deal, Western went on to win in El Paso 15-14.
Last year, I mean, we kind of struggled against, we had a big game against Alabama last year. We had a big win this year against Ball State. And then we go to Miami, Ohio, kind of struggle against UTEP, but came out with wins, found a way to win in both those games, and we really look forward to making this week the week to really get it going.
One WKU football player made arguably the biggest play of the season last year. Now he's making big plays every game. Reporter Sam Porter has the story.
It was just great week preparation. I practiced all week doing it with Coach Levine. We did it maybe 10 times that whole week, and he was like, "You're going to get you one. We're going to need you to get one this week." And it just finally happened. They called my number, and I went out there and delivered what I had to do.
It's one of the most infamous plays in WKU sports history. Deion Yelder's block extra point in overtime against Middle Tennessee was ultimately the difference in the game and the difference in WKU's path to the Conference USA Championship.
I'm just doing my job. That's all it means. I'm doing my job like the rest of them doing their job.
At the time, Yelder was relatively unknown, a walk-on only seeing the field on special teams. But when the tight end position opened up, the special teams hero earned the starting spot, as well as a full scholarship.
The decision was just made. You know, Deion had proven himself throughout the spring like lots of other guys had, but he had really fulfilled a position of need for us. And tight end this spring, we only had 2 guys on the roster. You know, tight ends are a crucial part of what we're trying to do offensively.
After not catching a pass during his first 3 years at WKU, Yelder has caught 17 passes for 180 yards and a touchdown, and has led WKU in receiving in 2 of the 5 games so far this season.
He's a leader, and I mean, I look up to him. He's a good player, and he just goes about his business.
Although he's now the starting tight end, he's found another role on special teams as well, finding the end zone twice on 2-point conversions so far this season.
Yeah, it's fun, but it ain't the same. Like, I used to like going down and like crack back hitting people and double teaming people and stuff like that, but I take the 2-point conversions, just putting points on the board.
Reporting for the Extra Point, I'm Sam Porter.
We'll see if Yelder and company can get that offense going and carry WKU to their 4th victory of the year. And now Sam Porter is standing by from Houchins-Smith Stadium to preview this afternoon's matchup. Sam, what are your thoughts on the game?
Thanks, Deb. I'm sitting outside Houchins-Smith Stadium right now, about 2.5 hours before WKU and UNC Charlotte get underway in WKU's homecoming matchup. Now, Charlotte enters this game 0-6. A lot of polls are ranking them near the bottom of the nation. So a lot of WKU fans are hoping that this is the game that Mike White and company finally get this offense going, start putting some more points on the board. Let's talk about this WKU defense. WKU currently ranks 3rd in all of Conference USA in points allowed, giving up just under 20 points a game. And they also rank 1st against the run. And today is going to be the time that WKU gets their first true test against a true dual-threat quarterback. Charlotte quarterback Hassan Klug currently leads all of Conference USA in rushing yards, averaging about close to 60 yards a game. He also found the end zone 5 times, but he has been quite as impressive with his arm. Head coach Mike Sammer compared him a lot to Colin Kaepernick. You're going to see a lot of pistol formations today. I think the key for this WKU defense is to keep Klug in the pocket, try to make him beat you with his arm, because he hasn't been able to do that at all this year. Back to you guys.
Next on the Extra Point, history and tradition are 2 things that define the WKU community. Emily Spink joins us next to explain.
And later, Director of Athletics Todd Stewart will join us on set to discuss all things homecoming and WKU sports.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be?
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us, when others are down, to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Extra Point reporter Emily Spink now joins us on the set for a little football flashback.
WKU football has been ever-changing and growing since its start. I did some research and looked into what the program has experienced throughout the years. The WKU football program has a rich history that goes all the way back to the 1930s, also known as the first golden age in Hilltopper athletics. From 1932 to 1940, 24 Western athletes gained all-conference honors a total of 34 times. The team won their first Ohio Valley Conference in 1952 in the newly formed conference. Between 1970 and 1980, the Toppers went on to win 6 Ohio Valley Conference championships under Jimmy Fiix. But tragedy almost struck the football program as the state mandated a $6.1 million budget cut in 1992. The WKU Board of Regents allowed the program to stay with a reduced budget after a successful fundraising campaign by Jimmy Fiix. The Hilltoppers went on a second consecutive 10-win season and their second straight Conference USA Football Championship against La Tech under head coach Jeff Brom. The team moved to the NCAA Division I-A football in 2003. This allowed the school to add 22 scholarships and increase the budget of the program. In 2015, WKU had a 10-win regular season highlighted by an undefeated record and a Conference USA Championship defeating Southern Miss. As they say, history repeats itself. That was the case for the Toppers in 2016. The Hilltoppers went on a second consecutive 10-win season and their second straight Conference USA Football Championship against La Tech under head coach Jeff Brom. The Hilltoppers have appeared in 4 major bowl games with a win-loss record of 3-1. Reporting for Extra Point, I'm Emily Spink.
Emily, what was the most interesting fact that you learned while researching all that history?
One of the most interesting facts I learned was actually in 1963 was the first undefeated football team in WKU history.
1963, it's 2017. We can't really get it this year, but what are the odds that it's going to be under the Sanford era?
Oh, I believe it will happen, absolutely. I believe that Coach Mike Sanford will lead WKU to an undefeated season team and to a championship.
Okay, well, let's hope we have a bowl game in our future this year, too.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us, Emily.
Yeah.
When WKU comes to mind, there's one guy that you'll never forget, Big Red. Extra Point reporter Katie Cook took to the Hill and got Hilltoppers' opinions on the Jolly Red mascot.
According to WKU Archives, Western Kentucky University went 73 years without a mascot. After dozens of sketches were made by 2 campus administrators, Big Red was finally introduced in the winter of 1979. Students at WKU share what the award-winning mascot means to them.
Big Red represents the spirit of WKU, symbolizes the students, faculty, and staff, pretty much what we stand for.
A lot of people say he's a blob, but I'm pretty sure he's the literal top of a hill.
Big Red is a symbol of hope on WKU. That's what Gary Ransdell told me once.
WKU junior Abby Stivers works for campus admissions and says exactly what WKU wants us to know about our mascot.
They tell us kind of like what Big Red is on the tours. I think his head kind of looks like the top of the hill. And like we went so long without a mascot that it's just kind of something that embodies what WKU already was instead of Big Red like influenced what WKU is. I like to think of him as my lovable best friend now.
For the Extra Point, I'm Katie Cook.
Nike swoosh isn't the only new addition to the WKU football jerseys. Nathan Yazdani has a story.
In 2017, Western has decided to commemorate the late Butch Gilbert and Mitchell Henry with stickers on the back of their helmets. They have an MH for Henry and a caramel candy for Gilbert, who would hand out candy to players during film sessions. Gilbert, a Bowling Green native, played for Western from 1948 to 1951 and coached at Western for a total of 17 years. Gilbert loved the Hilltoppers like no other, and few cared about the football program as much as him. Paul just explains.
He would like to be remembered as a coach that was committed to his players, committed to his coaching staff, committed to the program, and committed to his university.
Mitchell Henry played for WKU from 2011 to 2014 and was a key part to the resurgence of the Western football program.
Mitchell Henry played an important role in the rise of our program into national levels in the last few years as a reserve tight end, as a starting tight end, and then afterward making a place for himself in professional football.
Gilbert was inducted into the WKU Athletic Hall of Fame, and Henry made 2 appearances for the Denver Broncos. So make sure to be on the lookout for the 2 stickers of Hilltopper legends next time you catch a WKU football game. For the Extra Point, I'm Nathan Yazdani.
Although these are just 2 small symbols, they represent giant figures in WKU history.
Lady Tops traveled the 100 miles of hate to take on rival Middle Tennessee State last Friday. Unfortunately, after 90 minutes of play, WKU fell to the Lady Raiders 1-0. The Tops looked to redeem themselves against UAB, but never got the chance due to inclement weather. The journey down to Birmingham was canceled on the expense of Hurricane Nate, and most recently, last night, the Lady Tops returned to the soccer complex as they played host to the Lady Owls of FAU. Freshman forward Allie Bishop would find the back of the net, and it would prove to be the deciding factor as WKU downed the Owls 1-0. The Lady Tops are looking to build off that win from last night as they head into the bottom of the half. Here's a look at what their schedule looks like for their next few matchups. WKU will welcome conference opponent FIU to Bowling Green this Sunday afternoon before hitting the road for San Antonio later in the week. Led by head coach Jason Nidell, the Tops are currently 4-8 on the season.
Some changes in WKU women's athletics recently left some teams without a strength coach. Extra Point reporter Dee Green has more.
In September, women's basketball and soccer strength coach Marcy Hoppe took on a new job at Mississippi State. Without an immediate hire, this left strength coach John Stefanski with some extra teams.
It just added a few more hours of the day. You had to be well organized, well planned in terms of what you were going to do each team on a particular day.
But with time management, Coach Stefanski has been able to work overtime to make sure that all of the women's teams get the attention that they deserve.
Recently, a new strength coach has been hired. Women's basketball and soccer are ready to embrace this new normal. Both look forward to lifting with their new coach and hope to see improvements on the field and on the court.
As with anything, when one person leaves, there's always going to be some change. Change is not necessarily bad. Change can be a good thing. And for the last 8 weeks, we've sort of just built upon what Coach Hoppe had developed with both her teams and just tried to maintain that throughout this process.
All teams continue to stay on schedule until the new coach gets acquainted. Soccer season will end and women's basketball will start soon. Continue to follow both teams at WKUsports.com. For the Extra Point, I'm Dee Green.
To stay updated on WKU women's basketball and soccer, and to see how the Lady Tops are using their strengths on the hardwood and the grass, follow us on Twitter at ExtraPointWKU.
Coming up, we bring you the first preview of the 2017 men's and women's hoops teams. Miles Schroeder breaks it down for us.
And for the first time here on the Extra Point, we'll have President Caboni on set to learn about his first semester on the Hill.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Fans got their first look at WKU's men's and women's basketball teams as the annual Hilltopper Hysteria took place in Diddle Arena last night. Miles Schroeder was in-house, and he gives us a preview on the hardwood.
I like seeing, obviously, the new players. There's excitement there. You know, it's like opening a Christmas present. You don't know what's there.
Fans looking to see new faces in a red and white jersey were far from disappointed in the 2017 edition of Hilltopper Hysteria. Between the men and women, 14 new players made their debut in Diddle Arena. Despite the team only being together for a short time, the players have confidence that this is the team for them.
We got, everybody's all around great. Like, I couldn't go to any other school. Like, I love playing with these guys.
The camaraderie between the players early on is something Rick Stansberry isn't taking lightly.
I'm not so sure I've been around a team has any better chemistry than we have on this team. And chemistry, and I've said this many a time, a new team is easy to put new pieces together if you have good character and good people. And we have good people.
The chemistry-filled roster put on quite the show for the fans.
Omer did this no-look pass that reminded me of one of Patrick Sparks' passes back in the day, but was fantastic. Ended up with a dunk. That was probably the highlight.
I think they let the players probably dunk more than they usually do, and it's kind of showtime. So I liked that there was not a lot of defense, mostly offense.
I think Colby got wore out because he had so many dunks. There was so much athleticism, tonight.
It wasn't just on the court that players made memories for the fans, as both the ladies and the men stayed in Diddle for about an hour talking to fans and signing autographs. Stansberry said that he hopes what fans saw tonight can help bring the extra 900 fans needed to reach his goal to sell out Diddle on opening night. Reporting for The Extra Point, I'm Miles Schroeder.
Guys, Hilltopper Hysteria was last night, and we got that first look at both the men's and women's teams. Last season, the men got put out in the conference tournament in the first round by UTSA. They've gained some new faces in that program. What can we expect to see from them?
I mean, they definitely have, and Rick Stansberry's one of them. We have to remember he's only played coached one season here, but he has a lot of good recruits, so I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah, and that recruiting, he's done a very good job of bringing in some new faces and some talent that's going to really propel this team. Now, the women's side of things, they lost a lot. Kendall Noble, Micah Jones, along with other players. Do they have a chance to be good again this season?
Well, Michelle Clark-Hurd, she's got the team on her back, though. She's an awesome coach, and you can look for them to have an awesome season this year.
Absolutely.
The WKU women's volleyball team was busy putting in work over fall break and earlier this week. Last Friday, Alyssa Kavanaugh led the Lady Tops to their Conference USA record 30th straight win over a league opponent, including regular season and tournament play. Kavanaugh came in clutch with 24 kills and helped the Lady Tops sweep Southern Miss. WKU won the first game 25-21, won the second game 25-23, and won the third game 25-14. Following that win over Southern Miss, the team kept on killing it and swept its 5th straight match over Austin Peay. WKU won the first game 25-20, won the second game 25-15, and won the third game 25-18. Grasping those two 3-0 wins means that WKU now owns a 16-match winning streak, the second longest in the nation. 25 just might be the Lady Top's lucky number. Here are some more winning recaps for the WKU women's volleyball team from this week. Alyssa Kavanaugh was named Conference USA Offensive Player of the Week, which is the second offensive honor since becoming a senior and her 5th throughout her career. And WKU's 549 team hitting percentage reached national highs, tying the 3rd best 3-set match team clip across the nation this season.
Coming up next for volleyball, this in their schedule for Travis Hudson and his Lady Tops are 3 more Conference USA opponents. Tomorrow they travel to Miami, Florida to take on a 2-1 team in FIU. After that, it's back to Bowling Green for a match with the Lady Miners of UTEP on Friday. And to end the week, they're back in Diddle Arena on Sunday for a battle with UTSA. We will keep you updated on all those scores. You can follow along on our Twitter at ExtraPointWKU.
WKU wrapped up a successful weekend at the Greater Louisville Classic and is turning their focus to pre-nationals. Race time is set for today at 10 a.m. and the Tops are looking to senior Savannah Ames and Indelo Tequili to lead both the men's and women's teams to victory. A high school star switched gears from the hardwood to the track late in her high school career. Extra Point reporter Katie Cook shares how she made the switch here on the Hill.
WKU freshman Rebecca Cook played basketball almost her whole life. But as you may notice, it's not basketball she's playing here at WKU.
I was planning on playing in college and everything until I got to my senior year. And then senior year came around and I just kind of started getting burnt out on it a little bit. I had made a lot of Division I visits for basketball, but I just didn't really find a place that I felt like I would fit in and enjoy and everything. So senior year came around and I was like, I think I'm gonna try track.
After playing basketball for over 10 years, Rebecca took up cross country with only 1 year left of high school.
I ended up winning the 400 at the Kentucky State meet.
WKU cross country coach Eric Jenkins says this played a role in recruiting Rebecca.
That was one of the big reasons why I recruited her. I watched her at the state meet and I was really impressed by her. She's a competitive young lady and she has a raw ability to be able to really develop that. And so I was really excited about Rebecca when we were able to sign her.
And Rebecca feels as though she made the right decision.
I was in contact with Coach Jenkins and came here for a visit and just fell in love with it and decided that track was something that I wanted to try to pursue. And so I committed here to run track the last day of school my senior year.
For the Extra Point, I'm Katie Cook.
Thanks, Katie. You can catch Rebecca on the course on October 28th for the CUSA Championship.
Join us after the break to learn about 3 tough Lady Tops whose past shaped the athletes they are today.
Think about your future. Jeff over there did, and just look at him. He saved up, bought a house, he's got a beautiful wife. They even had a fancy pants destination wedding, and oh! They had a baby! Ah! Smart and handsome. Ooh, la la. Now, I've been saving these frames for pictures of my future grandbabies for years. And the shopping sprees on organic clothing and telephone cases is not helping you save for a family. Oh, gracious! Look at that! He's a model! Oh. I bet you he's putting all that money right into a 401k or his baby's college fund. And his teeth are so straight. See how good saving can look at feedthepig.org. Feed the pig.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like, that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Watching WKU softball, you'd think the ladies had been doing it their entire lives. But that's not the case for all the players. Reporter Miles Schroeder has more.
Softball is a huge part of life for Brittany Vaughn, Haley Towers, Jordan Von Brink, and Coach Amy Tudor. But surprisingly enough, softball didn't really mean anything for these four growing up.
I started out when I was 4 at the YMCA, and then I played all the way up to 10, and hadn't touched a softball any during that time.
While many of the ladies on the WKU softball team began to play the game from an early age, these four all found their initial love for the ballpark on the baseball field. Although the concepts of these two games are similar, softball had one element that made the transition harder than you might expect.
I would say it's probably harder to hit a softball, so I like hitting a baseball better, but not just because of the size, but I think because of, with a softball pitcher, they can go to any plane of the pitch or anything like that. With baseball, I feel like you can really just go one way or the other.
A change in pitching style is far from the only challenge the ladies faced.
Whenever I first started playing, I think the competitiveness or lack thereof for softball.
Girls like to cheer a little bit more and have a little bit more fun. Guys are pretty much all business. So that was a little bit of an adjustment to get used to, is the different camaraderie in the dugout.
Even though the adjustment was initially rough for the ladies, they agree that playing with both males and females has its advantages.
I think that baseball really prepared me with aggressiveness for softball, and I think that shows when I'm on the base pass. I really take pride in base running and just being really aggressive even on defense, and so I think that really prepared me, and the guys being tough on me when I was growing up, I think that really helped out a lot for me.
Their time on the baseball diamond has clearly given the ladies a unique outlook on softball. Reporting for the Extra Point, I'm Miles Schroeder.
The softball team is in Lexington right now, taking on the University of Kentucky in back-to-back games this weekend.
And Mike Sanford's team isn't the only WKU sport making tackles on Saturday afternoons. Reporter Miles Schroeder has more.
Purple, yeah. Chaos, 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 chaos.
You're probably noticing this doesn't look like a typical American football play, and that's because it isn't. This is how WKU's rugby team takes the field on Saturday afternoons. Rugby combines the kicking element of soccer with the scoring element of football to make one of the more fast-paced games around the world.
The way I always say is it's like professional hot potato. You kind of you catch the ball and you pass it as soon as you can.
The fast-paced element is something new players say they have to adjust for.
Just flat out running. In football, I really only play defense, and so after each play, you get probably about a 4 to 6 second break in between plays, and then in rugby, after a play, that's you're still going no matter what.
WKU rugby players agree that the non-stop motion means teamwork is crucial, and the intelligence on the field translates off the field.
I've joined a team where camaraderie is just hand in hand. I mean, being with some guys and being with a program that's older than I am, it's special to me to be a part of such a notorious program.
While some of the teams WKU rugby faces are Division I programs, this team can't say that right now, as rugby is just a club sport. But that's something that President John Russell would like to see change.
Being a part of D2 as we are now, it's just one step closer that we have to becoming out of sports clubs and into the varsity level. And at the end of my presidency, I want to be able to look back and be like, okay, I did a good job to get me in the direction of that varsity level.
Whether or not the WKU rugby team can reach their varsity level is yet to be seen, but for now the team is focusing on the MCRC playoffs in the coming weeks. Reporting for the Extra Point, I'm Miles Schroeder.
The rugby squad plays their final regular season match next week against Xavier, and the playoffs start the following week.
Todd Stewart is standing by and will join the game day crew on set to talk some Hilltopper football. We'll be right back.
From a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean.
I understand. I know it's not your typical resume.
Okay, well.
But candidate. But I've been working double shifts just to pay for books. I've been raising my 2 little brothers. I'm determined, driven, motivated. Isn't that what you're looking for?
Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org.
Does your family need a break from the daily routine?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. If you or someone you know needs a healthy dose of nature, visit discovertheforest.org and trade in the big screen for the big blue sky by visiting a local park or forest near you.
Hiking, picnicking, swimming, orienteering, climbing, admiring wildlife, or inhaling fresh air may result in heightened creativity, feelings of joy, harmony, satisfaction, and a euphoria that can only be explained as oneness with the natural world. Whoa.
On set with the crew now is Director of Athletics Todd Stewart, and in the 5 years that Todd has been in this position, more than 500 athletes have obtained degrees, and WKU Sports has captured over 30 conference championships. It's a pleasure to have one of the most highly touted athletic directors in the conference, and Todd, we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you. Always great being with you.
It's a great day on the Hill. Obviously, Homecoming 2017, something that you've got to be a part of for a couple years now. What's your overall thoughts on the game day experience?
It's awesome. You know, I think especially Homecoming because you have a lot of alumni coming in. Mother Nature has cooperated today. The skies are blue. The sun is out. You know, our football team is going for something that's unprecedented, a 3rd straight conference championship, and a win today would, you know, give us a big step towards that.
You spoke of all the fan interaction, alumni coming in. Well, how do you think the fan base has been this year? Because I know last night Caboni and Mike Sanford both tried to rally students together and get them to show up.
You know, I think it's been good, but not great. I mean, I think the people that come have been really energetic and really passionate. We just need more of it, you know, because it truly, you know, especially students give our team energy and give our players energy and does have a positive impact on the way they play. So the ones that have come have been great, but we just need more of it.
What do you think it is to change that, to change the mindset of the students in the community and things like that? What can the athletics department do? What can the university do to get fans on board?
Well, I think, you know, control what we can control, and that's what's been a little bit frustrating, to be honest with you, is you think typically from a fan perspective, people want to see success and they want to see excitement. And you look at, like, last year, we won our conference for the 2nd straight year, and we led the nation in scoring. We were the highest scoring team in the country. So we've just got to keep doing what we can do. I think keep marketing it, keep promoting it, keep reaching out to students. And, you know, I think sometimes it's like, you know, building a large, beautiful building. It just takes a little bit of time. We have the foundation in place. We just have to keep adding to it.
And you spoke of the conference championship win last season. After that, Jeff Brom left. So what was the process of interviewing candidates and ending up with Mike Sanford?
Yeah, you know, Jeff did a great job here, but obviously a Big Ten opportunity and a guaranteed $18 million it's hard to tell him, no, that's a mistake, Jeff, to do that. Mike Sanford, you know, was here in 2010, so he knows our program. He knows the landscape. I felt like what we really needed was somebody who we don't want to take a step back, so we needed somebody who had success in areas that we hadn't. And Mike has coached in 3 Fiesta Bowls and 2 Rose Bowls, and those are places we want to go. We want to go to a New Year's Six type bowl game. So I felt like because Mike had been here, his experience at Stanford and Notre Dame, and, you know, as one of the bright young offensive minds in college football would be the right person to keep us going, and I still definitely believe that.
And Coach Sanford, pretty young guy, and just being around practice and seeing him on the field interacting with players, it seems that he has a very tight-knit relationship with those guys. That's something that you've noticed as well?
No question. I mean, I think his age is a real positive there. He can relate to guys, and he's very, very energetic, and he's hired a like-minded staff. And, you know, the challenges we've had have just been normal with any kind of a transition. Whenever you have new people, and we lost a lot of good players. We lost some really good players, 2 offensive linemen that are in the NFL, and the top 2 receivers in school history. So regardless of who was our coach, it would have been hard to replace those guys, but it's all starting to come together.
So final question for you. What's your outlook on the rest of the season? Are you expecting another bowl win, another Conference USA championship?
Yes, I mean, our goals are high. I mean, they always will be. You know, we're one of only 9 programs in the nation that have won a bowl game each of the last 3 years. We're one of only 5 that's won a conference championship the last 2. And when I'm sitting here on the set with you next year, I want to be talking about 4 straight bowl wins and 3 straight conference championships.
Absolutely. And Todd, I have to ask you before you leave us, what are your thoughts on tonight's game, and can you give us a score prediction?
As long as we win, as long as Western Kentucky has 1 more point than Charlotte, I'll be happy. But I think our guys are really ready to break out. They had a good week of practice, and certainly homecoming adds a level of excitement, and I would be surprised if we didn't play well today.
Can you give us a score prediction?
I'll stay away from the score, but I will predict the Tops win.
Okay, all right. Todd, always a pleasure having you on. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on set and chat with us, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Sports on the Hill are always jam-packed with awesome multimedia components and interesting fan interactions. Anchor Hannah Sells goes behind the scenes and figures out just what it takes to put all of that together.
We like to say without us, it just be like you just have football and then timeouts.
When you think of college sports, and more specifically college football, you think of the athletes, the coaches, the games, the wins, the losses. But does the WKU Athletics marketing team ever cross your mind?
Yeah, for football games, we kind of call it organized chaos. For football, it's scripted out from 90 minutes on about what goes on minute by minute throughout a football game. So anytime there's a dead ball, timeouts, that's our time to shine with playing videos, playing music, different contests. So when you go to a football game, you'll see that when it's a timeout, or typically after changes of possession, we'll go to it's called a TV timeout. So during TV timeouts is when we'll get in all of our sponsorship elements, all of our presentations, and we script out each of those timeouts.
And all of that goes into a 4-hour football game.
We work really hard, all week and even multiple weeks leading up to game day. We want people to know that, we try to put forth the best product to make it a family event, to kind of really build the whole experience for the fans.
But are the hours put in worth it all?
I mean, all these student athletes have way more behind them that anybody ever knows about, and it's a big part of our job to make sure that that's brought to the light, and it's probably the most rewarding part of our job. It's something that can't be bought. There's so much more than athletes, and it's what we want to market to the community and show them. I mean, I'm attached to this place, and I'll pretty much market it till the day I die, and everybody knows that. They say my love for this place is completely contagious, so I hope everyone's infected now, okay?
You can support the rest of the WKU Athletic Marketing Department efforts by following all of WKU Sports on Twitter and showing some Hilltopper pride at the WKU Athletic events. Now, it's the age-old tale that behind every successful man is a successful woman. I sat down with Anne-Marie Sanford to see if this rings true for the WKU football couple.
Our parents introduced us, and kind of the rest is history.
With dads who are lifelong friends and former football teammates, it's no wonder why this couple devotes most of their time to the field.
When I graduated college, I moved up to Boise State, and he finished out his playing career there and then decided to go into coaching. And then we married each other, and 11 moves later, we are here at Western Kentucky.
Anne-Marie says that the moves are never easy, but her kids and husband make the extra efforts worth it.
My daughter has lived in all 4 different time zones, and she's 7. She's moved 5 times, and she does it better than probably Mike and I combined. Our boys are too small to even know. But, I always say with Mike, my home is wherever he is. And so, yes, the moves are hard, but it's not he does a great job at transitioning us.
When facing a loss or angry fans, Mike and Anne-Marie have their own way of coping with the negativity.
Mike and I, we call it our true north. So we kind of block out the criticism, and we look to our true north, and our true north is our children and our marriage and our family and our faith. And the good thing is that we are winning, and it's hard. I always say it's hard to win a football game, and so I'm just proud when we win. However we win, and that's huge for me.
As a busy mom, Anne-Marie feels that her contributions to the team stem from her support for her husband.
We're coaching them, or Mike's coaching them, but they're playing. They're on the sidelines or in the game, and that's a huge deal. And so if I can support Mike and support them and pray for them and just be there for them, I think that's right now what I can do, just because of having small kids.
Reporting for The Extra Point, I'm Temple Ricke.
We just spoke with Director of Athletics Todd Stewart, now standing by to join the crew and making his first ever appearance on the Extra Point Homecoming set is first-year WKU President Dr. Tim Caboni. We speak with him next.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Recently, our country has witnessed catastrophic devastation. Hurricanes and flooding have upended lives and livelihoods.
Across this great country, Americans have answered the call.
That special calling that compels us when others are down to step up and do whatever it takes.
America's at her best when, against all odds, we come together and lift each other up.
Please donate to oneamericaappeal.org. America needs you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Missed you last night. I'm sorry. Basketball players, so we'll get another shot.
Okay. Extra Point reporter Sam Porter joins us again, but this time on South Lawn, and he's got a WKU fan with him. Sam, it's all you.
Between WKU and UNC Charlotte, I'm sitting here with a fan, actual WKU alumni. So to introduce him real quick, what's your name and what year did you graduate?
Tom Settles, graduated in 1983.
1983, wow, so that's about 34 years ago.
Oh, you did the math real quick.
Did the math real quick. That's not what we're here to talk about, though. I got to ask you, what was WKU football like back when you were in school here?
Well, we were in the OVC conference then, and obviously we had a really successful time in the OVC conference, but you didn't have this. You didn't have all the tailgating, and we were talking about it earlier how before a game everybody would be in their dorm room or their apartments, and then game time we would all walk over. There wasn't any tailgating, so this has become awesome. Moving to Division I like they've done, been a great move. You get people like myself, and we've got a big entourage down here from Owensboro coming to see see Western play.
Be careful there.
I know. So yeah, and I'm not a big UK fan. It's just on the brain, I guess.
I got you. Well, talk about the stadium too. I know the stadium must have been a lot different back then. Talk about the difference from the stadium back when you were in school to what it is now.
Well, obviously the half that was here is still the same. So, and it was great. Students, what I really like about it then and now, students still get in free. You have an ID, you're in the game. And you know, we can remember games we would come in, fill the stadium up. I will say this, I'm not sure it's a good thing or a bad thing. The difference now, it seemed like more students stayed for the full game. It kind of disappoints me when I see the end zone flooded with people, which is a great thing in the first half. In the second half, it's kind of bare. So we need to get the students more involved throughout the whole game, and I'm not sure how you guys do that, but your new president can figure that out.
Absolutely. Well, we got a little bit of time left. Let me get your prediction real quick. WKU Charlotte, what do you think's gonna happen?
Well, I think they're favored by at least 16, so I don't look for it to be a close competition. Hopefully it'll be a fun game. You know, he'll let them air it out. White's a heck of a quarterback, and if they get the air game going, then this can be a really fun thing to watch.
That's all the time we have for today. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sam. Joining us now is none other than the 10th president of Western Kentucky University. In his first year at the helm, Dr. Timothy Caboni. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Dalton. I appreciate it.
And we appreciate you being here. Homecoming on the Hill. We just talked to Todd Stewart about the homecoming festivities. It's your first homecoming here. Well, as the president, what do you think?
Well, it's a remarkable celebration. I was here in 1993-94, and it certainly was not the spectacle and the pageantry that it is today. I've been to universities all across this country and seen homecomings. We do it better than most in this nation. It's just a terrific celebration of who we are as an institution and the wonderful sports programs and academic programs we have as a university.
How about that homecoming parade last night?
I tell you what, Hannah, it was incredible to see the entire community of Bowling Green come out and celebrate with us. A terrific concert at the end, and my favorite part was actually getting to be part of the pep rally and get everybody enthusiastic and excited about coming out today, showing up, wearing red and cheering on the Toppers to victory.
Exactly.
I got to ask you, and I'm sure you've been asked this a million times already, but how's the first couple months been?
It's been wonderful. You know, Casey and I have had just an incredible reception here from the WKU community, the Bowling Green community, and actually the WKU community across the Commonwealth. It has just been warm and wonderful. This place is on a remarkable trajectory, and my job is to keep us moving that way, to build our national reputation, and sports is an important part of that, being successful and helping folks nationally understand what we do. And as much as I wish 20,000 people would show up to a speech and debate tournament, they don't. So we got to get them involved here with the 20,000 in the football stadium, and then we can talk about speech, debate, music, theater, English, geology, everything else we do as a university, but this is crucial to it.
So what is your favorite thing about WKU so far?
Well, I've gotten an offer at least once to conduct the band, and that's a pretty good thing. I was in band in college, marched at LSU, and was the Louisiana All-Star drum major. So we can, we're going to see if that works out. What's amazing is no matter how different the campus is, and it has been transformed in the past 25 years, the people are still the same. That this is a place that is student-centered, that cares deeply about our students' success, and also a wonderful applied research university that thinks about inquiry in a way that affects the economy and the community around us. So that's stayed the same. The WKU family is strong and intact, and people love being part of it.
And speaking about WKU athletics as a whole, what are some things that going on right now that you think are working well, and what are some things that you think can probably be changed?
So I've said, and Todd Stewart has said, and we have the same goals, that I want to play in and win in a New Year's Day bowl game. I want us to reclaim our position as a national power in basketball. I want volleyball to go deep in the tournament. And I want all of our other sports to compete and win not just conference championships, but go into the postseason. And we are well on our way to doing that. So we've got some work to do, a little bit of work on our facilities. Where we really need to spend time, I think, is helping not just Bowling Green and the alumni in Bowling Green, but everyone in our community to understand what a terrific, terrific atmosphere this is. That if you grew up in Kentucky and you grew up in South Central Kentucky, you have one team that's your team, and that's WKU. And so we need every weekend to have the stadium full, to sell out dinner, and for have people to wear red and show up every single time.
That's a great, I know you're known for that quote, showing up and wearing red. Now touching on football just a little bit, before we let you go, can you give us a score prediction?
Well, I think we're going to win 28-0.
28-0. You heard it here first from the man himself and from all of us here at the Extra Point. We want to say thank you for joining us today. We appreciate all that you've done so far for the university and wish you continued success in the future.
Thanks, Dalton. Good to have you. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you so much.
All right, the men's golf season is in full swing as they have competed in 3 different collegiate tournaments this fall. In the first tournament to open up the Hilltopper golf season was the Wolf Run Intercollegiate. They finished with a score of 935, shooting 83 over par. Next up, it was the Memphis Intercollegiate, where the Toppers finished with an impressive round of 873 that earned them 4th place. And currently, the men's golf team, led by Billy Tom Sargent, is competing in the Southern Dudes Intercollegiate. That tournament will wrap up on Sunday. As for the women's golf team, they too are off to an impressive start. At the season-opening USA Collegiate, they placed 6th as the team combined to shoot 23 over par. And their next match at the Pirate Collegiate Classic was something special, and they earned a 2nd-place finish, shooting a combined score of a total of 878. And most recently, WKU placed 11th at the Betty Lou Evans Collegiate Tournament, finishing the round 65 over par.
Next on the Extra Point, the Game Day crew gives you a rundown of WKU's matchup with Charlotte, and we'll show you your score predictions. We'll be right back.
Think about your future. Jeff over there didn't just look at him. He saved up, bought a house, he's got a beautiful wife. They even had a fancy pants destination wedding, and oh, they had a baby! Ah! Smart and handsome, ooh la la. Now I I've been saving these frames for pictures of my future grandbabies for years. And the shopping sprees on organic clothing and telephone cases is not helping you save for a family. Oh, gracious! Look at that! He's a model! I bet you he's putting all that money right into a 401k or his baby's college fund. And his teeth are so straight. See how good saving can look at feedthepig.org. Feed the pig.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
Every week, we bring you something that is guaranteed to drop your jaw. This week, we're talking about the Lady Topper volleyball team. Jessica Lucas, Rachel Anderson, and Alyssa Kavanaugh are just some of the key contributors to the team's continuous success in their last matchup against UAB. Travis Hudson and company broke their own Conference USA record with a win streak of 31 CUSA games. But get this, in addition, the Tops have the second longest winning streak in the nation with 16 consecutive season wins. Be sure to keep up with the Lady Toppers as they take on 2 more conference opponents this week.
And this week's Hero on the Hill honors not 1, but 2 men who do quite a bit of work around the WKU community and don't always get the credit they deserve.
That's right, Hannah, and thankfully we were lucky enough to have them grace our presence today right here on the set.
Yep, you guessed it. This week's Heroes on the Hill are none other than Director of Athletics Todd Stewart and Dr. Caboni. Thank you guys for endearing hard work each and every day, and most of all, thanks for joining us on set today to talk a little bit of Hilltopper football. Now, going into that Hilltopper football, there's a game right here behind us, guys, at 3:30 p.m. The Tops are taking on a winless Charlotte team. What's your predictions on the matchup? Do you think Western can pull this one off like they did UTEP last week?
You know, I definitely do. I think it'll be a little more of a scoring gap besides the 15-14 scores we saw last week. I think Western will come out hot and we'll just score right off the bat. But it really all depends on our passing game. As we've seen, Coach Sanford really hasn't let Mike White loose until a little bit later in the game, so I just hope he's able to throw.
And I'll agree with that. And I think something that Sanford has said that he has tried to get going is that running game. And we've seen that, and he said, I'm going to keep doing it until it works. He's basically told the media that, and we've seen it week after week. He's trying to get Jakari Moses worked in there, trying to get him some touches. What do you think about that running game? Can they get that started this week?
Well, just like I said at the beginning of the show, consistency was something that we were kind of lost on. So if we stay on that game, on that consistency game, I really think that we can pull out a win.
And I will agree with that. The consistency is a big factor for this team. In the past couple of weeks, we've seen a lot of inconsistencies, which turns around and makes them, you know, a little shaky on the performance on the field. So after that, we can see them in Charlotte this week. They're 0-6. What are they going to do? Are they going to get a victory?
I don't think so. I think we're going to improve our record to 4-2. And, you know, we have the skills to do it. We have the coaches. We have the D-line. We have the O-line. I'm pretty confident.
I'm pretty confident, too. Hannah, give us your score prediction.
My score prediction is going to be 34-20.
34-20. Got the Tops winning that one?
Yes, Tops are winning by the skin of their teeth, just like always.
Okay. What's your score prediction, Tipple?
You know, I'm going to join Todd Stewart and not really give a score prediction, but I just think the Tops are going to come out on top.
Okay. Well, the ladies right here have said it to you first. She's not going to give you a score prediction, but she's still taking a Tops victory. Hannah, you said 34-20. Is that correct?
Yes, skin of their teeth. They've been winning by the skin of their teeth.
They have.
They've been losing by 1 point. They win by 1 point. So.
Well, I think Charlotte's defense, one of the worst defenses in the country right now. Their offenses haven't been very good either this season. So I think this is the week where WKU is really going to get this ball game going. You'll see a lot in the run game. I'll take them 35-20. Western's going to win it. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you in our homecoming show. For Temple Ricke, Hannah Sells, the extra point is up.
And it is
good.